Another person will not hurt you without your cooperation. You are hurt the moment you believe yourself to be. Ever wondered why the silence of someone you care about can feel louder than a thunderstorm? It's because at our core, we're social beings wired to connect, share, and feel understood. Yet there's a hard truth that not everyone will resonate with our frequency, not everyone will understand our melody, and guess what? That's perfectly okay. Today we're diving deep into the art of letting go, the Stoic way. Stoicism, a philosophy that has stood the test of time, teaches us the power of acceptance and the strength found in understanding what is within our control and what lies beyond it. Imagine navigating life's social labyrinth with a compass that points you toward peace of mind, regardless of the stormy weather others may bring into your life. Stick around as we uncover how to harness the wisdom of Stoicism to gracefully accept and move beyond the indifference or rejection we may face. Because in the grand tapestry of life, each thread, no matter how seemingly misplaced, has a role to play in the beauty of the bigger picture. And before we dive into the heart of our exploration, here's a simple favor I'm asking from you. If you appreciate what we're doing here, exploring the depths of human interaction with a touch of Stoic wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's a small gesture that means the world to us. And remember, you're different from the majority. You're someone who sees value in understanding and introspection. So consider yourself an exception and don't skip any part of this video. Let's embark on this journey together with open minds and hearts. Number 1. They give minimal responses. Have you ever reached out, pouring a little bit of your soul into a message only to get a cool or K pinged back to you? It feels like throwing a ball with all your might, expecting a game of catch, but instead it just drops to the ground with a sad little thud. This is the digital age's version of minimal responses, and let me tell you, it can sting. But here's where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism strides in, like a calm sage in the midst of our modern chaos. Stoicism teaches us the value of focusing on what's within our control, and the enthusiasm, or lack thereof, in someone's response. Well, that's firmly in their court. Stoic philosophy doesn't ask us to suppress our feelings of disappointment or to pretend that the coldness of others doesn't touch us. Instead, it invites us to look inward, to question why we seek validation in the length or depth of someone's reply. Could it be that we're searching for a sense of belonging, for assurance that our thoughts matter, that we matter? And here lies the beauty of Stoicism. It reminds us that our worth isn't tethered to the reactions of others. Our value, our essence, can't be diminished by minimal responses. When we encounter these brief replies, it's an opportunity to practice resilience, to remind ourselves that while we may hope for rich, engaging dialogues, the reality might not always match our expectations, and that's okay. It's a chance to apply the Stoic principle of focusing on our own actions and reactions rather than trying to control the uncontrollable. We can choose to respond with understanding, to acknowledge that everyone's engagement level can vary due to countless unseen factors, and to move forward with our own inner peace intact. So, the next time you're met with a minimal response, take a moment to breathe, to smile, and to practice the art of Stoic acceptance. Reflect on the freedom that comes with releasing the need for validation from others, and the power you have to choose your own reaction. It's in these moments we can find a deeper connection to ourselves, and perhaps a greater understanding of the simple yet profound joys of communication. Remember, in the grand tapestry of human interaction, every response or lack thereof is a thread that teaches us more about ourselves and the subtle art of letting go. Number 2, their body language is dismissive. Picture you're sharing something close to your heart, maybe a dream you've had or a challenge you're facing, and the person you're talking to seems more interested in the wallpaper. Their arms are crossed, their gaze keeps darting away, and you can almost see an invisible wall rising up between you. This is the dance of dismissive body language, a non-verbal cue that can leave you feeling like you're speaking to the wind. It's disheartening, isn't it, when all you're seeking is a genuine connection? Now, let's bring a bit of Stoicism into the room. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, would see this scenario as a prime opportunity for growth. They'd remind us that while we cannot control the actions or reactions of others, we have complete autonomy over our own. Dismissive body language from another person doesn't reflect on our worth or the value of what we're sharing. Instead, it's a signal, a piece of information about the state of mind or the current emotional capacity of the person we're engaging with. Stoicism teaches us to observe without immediate judgment, to understand that every person is navigating their own complex inner world. Perhaps the person you're talking to is preoccupied with their own troubles, maybe they're uncomfortable with vulnerability, or possibly they're simply unaware of the impact of their body language. The Stoic approach encourages us to look beyond the surface, to practice empathy and patience, even when faced with what seems like indifference. Moreover, this philosophy empowers us to reflect on our own responses. How do we react when we feel our words are falling on deaf ears? Do we get defensive, withdraw, or do we take a deep breath and calmly seek to understand? Here lies the essence of Stoic resilience. Choosing a response that aligns with our values, that maintains our peace, and that keeps the door open for meaningful interactions, without attaching our emotional well-being to the actions of others. So, the next time you encounter dismissive body language, remember the Stoic wisdom. See it as a chance to practice kindness, both to yourself and to the person you're speaking with. Remind yourself that their body language is their story, not yours, and that your self-worth is unshaken. Embrace the freedom that comes from focusing on what you can control, your perceptions, your actions, and your journey towards becoming a more understanding, compassionate human being. After all, in the vastness of human experience, these moments of disconnect can be transformative, guiding us back to our own inner strength and the deep well of empathy that lies within. Number 3. There's a significant trust gap. Imagine reaching out, trying to bridge a divide with openness and honesty, only to find the chasm widening, the other side pulling away. This is the essence of encountering a significant trust gap. It's like speaking through a glass barrier. Your words are heard, but the warmth, the connection, doesn't quite make it through. Trust is the bedrock of any meaningful relationship, whether it's friendship, love, or even a professional bond. Without it, every interaction feels shallow, every word second-guessed, leaving a hollow echo in its wake. Now, let's draw upon the wisdom of Stoicism in the face of such a gap. The Stoics, with their profound insight into human relations, would advise us to recognize this gap not as a fault of our own making, but as a complex interplay of individual histories, perceptions, and experiences. They would remind us that trust, like a delicate seed, needs the right conditions to sprout and grow. And sometimes, despite our best efforts, the soil just isn't fertile on the other side. Stoicism teaches us the value of acceptance, of understanding that we can only control our own actions and intentions, not how they are received or reciprocated. This trust gap offers a powerful lesson in the Stoic practice of focusing on our internal locus of control. We can strive to be trustworthy, to act with integrity, and to communicate openly. However, the outcome, the closing of the gap, is not in our hands. This realization frees us from the weight of expectation and the pain of rejection. It allows us to act according to our principles without attachment to the result, embodying the Stoic ideal of equanimity. Moreover, confronting a trust gap challenges us to reflect on our own capacity for trust. Are there barriers we've erected, perhaps unconsciously, that prevent us from fully engaging with others? Stoicism encourages us to look inward, to question our assumptions and fears, and to cultivate a sense of self-awareness that can lead to personal growth and stronger relationships. Embracing the Stoic mindset, we learn to navigate the complexities of human interactions with grace and resilience. We understand that trust is a two-way street, requiring patience, time, and sometimes the courage to let go and move forward. In doing so, we remain true to our values, maintaining our inner peace and dignity, regardless of the external circumstances. So, when faced with a significant trust gap, remember the Stoic teachings. Use this challenge as an opportunity to grow in understanding, both of others and of yourself. Keep your heart open, your intentions clear, and your actions aligned with your principles, and above all, cherish the relationships where trust flows freely, for they are the ones that truly enrich our lives. Number 4. Their patience runs thin quickly. Ever found yourself walking on eggshells, measuring words as if they were on a scale, trying not to tip the balance into irritation or annoyance? It's like being in a room where the air is charged, and a single misplaced word could spark a reaction you're trying hard to avoid. This tension, this careful treading, stems from sensing that someone's patience with you runs thin quickly. It's a feeling that can make even the simplest conversation feel like a high-wire act without a net. In these moments, the wisdom of Stoicism offers a grounding perspective. Stoicism teaches us the virtue of patience, not just as a practice towards others, but as an internal cultivation. When faced with someone whose patience seems as fragile as thin ice, the philosophy encourages us to turn our focus inward, to control our reactions rather than attempting to control the external situation or the other person's temper. The Stoic approach to quick-tempered interactions is rooted in understanding and empathy. Perhaps the other person is grappling with issues invisible to us, carrying burdens that shorten their fuse. Stoicism reminds us that everyone is fighting their own battles, often hidden beneath the surface. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can approach these situations with a sense of calm and a desire to understand rather than react defensively. This doesn't mean accepting poor treatment, but choosing to respond with dignity and equanimity, qualities highly valued in Stoic thought. Moreover, encountering someone whose patience runs thin can serve as a mirror for our own behaviors and attitudes. It presents an opportunity to practice patience ourselves, to strengthen our ability to remain composed and compassionate in the face of impatience. Stoicism doesn't just teach us how to endure difficult situations, but how to grow from them, turning challenges into chances for personal development. In the spirit of Stoicism, we learn to accept that we cannot control how quickly someone else's patience may wear thin, but we can control our response to it. We can choose to meet impatience with understanding, to respond to short tempers with a long view of human frailty and strength. This Stoic resilience doesn't just help us navigate the moment, it builds our character, shaping us into individuals who can face the volatile ebbs and flows of human emotion with a steady heart and a clear mind. So, when you encounter someone whose patience seems perpetually on the brink, remember the Stoic teachings. Use it as an opportunity to practice patience, empathy, and understanding. Reflect on the power you have over your own actions and attitudes, and let this awareness guide you. In doing so, you embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, navigating life's complexities with a calm and steady presence that can turn even the thinnest patience into an opportunity for growth and connection. Number 5. Manners seem artificial. It's like watching a play where the actors are going through the motions, their smiles a bit too rehearsed, their laughter a second too late. This sensation of artificial manners can leave us feeling unsure, questioning the authenticity of the interaction and, by extension, the sincerity of the relationship. It's an unsettling experience, like sipping a drink that looks refreshing but tastes oddly flat. In such situations, Stoicism offers a valuable perspective. This ancient philosophy encourages us to look beyond the surface, to understand that people often resort to artificial manners for a myriad of reasons, none of which may have anything to do with us personally. They might be guarding their vulnerabilities, adhering to social expectations, or simply trying to navigate their own discomfort. Stoicism teaches us to respond to such artificiality not with suspicion or disdain, but with empathy and patience. A Stoic response to perceived insincerity in others is to practice understanding. This doesn't mean we ignore our feelings of discomfort or pretend everything is fine when it's not. Rather, it's about recognizing that we have the power to choose our reactions. We can choose to see the person behind the facade, to acknowledge that their artificial manners might be a shield against something they're not ready to confront. Furthermore, Stoicism reminds us of the importance of focusing on what is within our control. We cannot force others to be genuine with us, but we can control our authenticity, our reactions, and how we choose to engage with the world. By embodying the virtues of honesty and sincerity ourselves, we become a mirror, reflecting back the kind of genuine interaction we seek. This doesn't guarantee that others will drop their guards, but it does ensure that we remain true to our values, fostering connections that are rooted in authenticity. Stoicism also encourages us to consider our expectations. In expecting unguarded authenticity from everyone we meet, are we setting ourselves up for disappointment? Perhaps there's wisdom in adjusting our expectations, in understanding that every interaction has its place and time, and that genuine connections grow at their own pace. When faced with artificial manners, let us remember the Stoic virtues of wisdom and courage. Wisdom to see beyond the surface, and courage to remain authentic in our expressions. Let this challenge be an opportunity to practice empathy, to extend kindness without the expectation of immediate reciprocity, and to cultivate a sense of inner peace that is not easily disturbed by the external world's fluctuations. Number 6. They find reasons to stay away. Have you ever reached out to someone only to find them perpetually busy, always on the brink of something else, something that invariably keeps them just out of reach? It's like extending a hand across a gap, believing it's small, only to watch it widen with every attempt at connection. This experience, where someone consistently finds reasons to stay away, can stir a mix of emotions: confusion, frustration, perhaps a pang of rejection. It feels as though every effort to close the distance only serves to highlight the spaces between. In these moments, Stoicism offers a beacon of clarity. This ancient philosophy teaches us that our happiness and peace of mind come not from the actions or inactions of others, but from how we choose to perceive and respond to them. When someone seems to weave a tapestry of excuses to keep us at bay, Stoicism urges us to look inward, focusing on our own reactions rather than on trying to decode or change theirs. A Stoic perspective on this distance is not one of resignation, but of understanding and acceptance. People's availability, emotional or physical, is shaped by countless factors. Prior commitments, personal struggles, or perhaps their journey of growth. Stoicism reminds us that just as we are the masters of our ship, so are others of theirs. We cannot command the winds of their will, but can adjust our sails, steering our emotional well-being with wisdom and integrity. Moreover, Stoicism encourages us to reflect on the nature of our expectations. In expecting or desiring someone's time and presence, are we attaching our contentment to variables beyond our control? This philosophy teaches us the power of detachment, not from people or from the richness of human relationships, but from the expectation that others must act as we wish in order for us to be happy. Encountering someone who finds reasons to stay away offers an opportunity to practice the Stoic virtues of self-reliance and independence. It is a chance to cultivate our inner citadel, building a foundation of contentment that is not easily shaken by external circumstances. This doesn't mean we close our hearts or cease reaching out, but that we do so from a place of wholeness, knowing that our worth is not diminished by the absence of others. The Stoic response to perceived distance is to continue to act with kindness and openness without attachment to the outcome. We extend the invitation, we bridge the gap, but we also recognize and respect the autonomy of others to choose their path, just as we choose ours. So, when faced with the challenge of someone who seems to find reasons to stay away, let us remember the Stoic teachings of acceptance, understanding, and the cultivation of inner peace. Let this be an opportunity to grow in self-awareness and resilience, cherishing the connections that enrich our lives while gracefully accepting the natural ebb and flow of human relationships. In doing so, we embody the essence of Stoicism, finding strength and serenity within, regardless of the spaces that may lie between us and others. Number 7. Listening without genuine interest. It's the kind of listening that isn't really listening at all, where the other person nods at the right moments, but their mind is miles away, perhaps scrolling through a mental shopping list or rehearsing a conversation they're actually interested in. This scenario, where someone listens without genuine interest, can leave us feeling undervalued, as if our words are nothing more than background noise to the soundtrack of their life. In these instances, Stoicism offers a gentle yet profound reminder of the importance of anchoring our self-esteem not in the reactions of others, but in our own self-respect and the knowledge that we have spoken our truth. Stoicism, with its focus on the things within our control, encourages us not to tether our sense of worth to the attentiveness or inattentiveness of our listeners. Instead, we are invited to appreciate the act of sharing as an expression of our authenticity, an offering of ourselves to the world without attachment to how it is received. A Stoic approach to being met with a lack of genuine interest is to practice empathy and understanding. Perhaps the person we're speaking to is distracted by their own worries, challenges, or even their inner dialogue. Stoicism teaches us that everyone is navigating their own journey, often doing the best they can with the tools they have at that moment. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can choose to respond to perceived disinterest, not with bitterness or resentment, but with a calm acceptance that this, too, is part of the human experience. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages us to reflect on our expectations. In expecting undivided attention and genuine interest from every interaction, are we setting ourselves up for disappointment? Stoicism advises us to focus instead on our own actions and intentions, ensuring that we listen with the interest and attentiveness we hope to receive. This is not about lowering our standards for human connection, but about cultivating inner peace by focusing on what we can control: our behavior, our attitudes, and our responses. Encountering a lack of genuine interest, can also serve as a reminder of the value of selectivity in sharing our thoughts and experiences. Stoicism doesn't suggest we close off from others, but rather that we choose wisely the confidants with whom we share our deeper selves. It's a call to invest our energy in relationships where mutual respect and genuine interest are the foundations, recognizing that these connections are the ones that truly enrich our lives. In moments where our words seem to fall on uninterested ears, let us remember the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and moderation. Wisdom to recognize what is within our control, courage to continue expressing our authentic selves despite the reactions of others, and moderation in our expectations of others' capacity for listening and engagement. Number 8. They're indifferent to understanding you. Imagine opening up, sharing a slice of your soul or a piece of your mind, only to be met with indifference. It's as if you're offering a gift of your innermost thoughts, and in return you receive a nod, a shrug, maybe a distracted This indifference, this lack of desire to truly understand you, can feel like speaking into a void, where your words echo back, devoid of connection or comprehension. It's a stark reminder of the moments when we find ourselves seeking a bridge to mutual understanding, only to realize we're standing alone. In the face of such indifference, Stoicism offers a beacon of resilience and inner strength. This ancient philosophy teaches us the value of self-sufficiency, not in the sense of isolation, but in finding peace and fulfillment within ourselves, irrespective of others' reactions or understanding. Stoicism encourages us to detach our sense of self-worth from the approval or understanding of others, reminding us that the only person we truly need to understand and be understood by is ourselves. A Stoic perspective on encountering indifference is rooted in compassion and empathy, both for ourselves and for the person who seems indifferent. Perhaps they are overwhelmed by their own struggles, or maybe they lack the emotional bandwidth to engage on a deeper level. Stoicism teaches us to approach such situations with understanding, recognizing that everyone is on their own path, and their current state of indifference is not a reflection of our worth or the value of our thoughts. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages us to reflect on the nature of our expectations. When we share our thoughts and feelings, are we doing so with the expectation of a certain response? Stoicism advises us to let go of these expectations, to share for the sake of expressing our authentic selves without attachment to the outcome. This doesn't mean we lower our standards for meaningful interactions, but that we find contentment in our own expression, independent of external validation. Encountering indifference can also serve as a catalyst for personal growth, a chance to practice the Stoic virtues of courage and wisdom, courage to remain true to ourselves and continue sharing our truth, and wisdom to recognize which relationships are capable of providing the depth and understanding we seek. It teaches us to invest our energies in connections that nurture mutual understanding and to cultivate an inner circle where indifference is replaced with empathy, curiosity, and respect. In moments when we feel misunderstood or met with indifference, let us draw upon the teachings of Stoicism. Let us find strength in our own clarity of purpose, comfort in our self-awareness, and resilience in our capacity to face indifference without losing our sense of self. By embodying the Stoic principles of self-reliance and emotional independence, we navigate life's interactions with grace, knowing that our worth is inherent and our quest for understanding begins within. Number 9. They ensure you're not included in plans. It's like looking through a window at a party you weren't invited to, where the warmth and laughter inside seem miles away from the cold spot you find yourself standing in. This deliberate exclusion, the careful crafting of plans that ensure you're not included, can bruise the spirit, leaving you to wonder about your place in the circle, or if you ever really had one to begin with. Stoicism, in its profound wisdom, offers solace and perspective in such moments. This ancient philosophy reminds us that our value and our joy are not contingent upon an invitation or the acceptance of others. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our responses, and releasing our grip on what isn't, including the decisions others make about social gatherings. A Stoic approach to being left out doesn't mean shrugging off the hurt or pretending it doesn't matter. Instead, it invites us to examine the pain, to understand its roots, and then to gently guide ourselves back to a place of peace and self-sufficiency. It asks us to consider, does our worth diminish because we were not included? Of course not. Our worth, according to Stoicism, is intrinsic, untethered to external validations or social calendars. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages us to use this experience as an opportunity for introspection and growth. Perhaps this exclusion is a signal, a chance to reassess the relationships we value and the company we wish to keep. Are we investing our time and energy into relationships that are reciprocal, that feed our soul and our growth? Or have we been holding on to connections that are, in truth, indifferent to our presence? Stoicism also teaches us the virtue of independence, the strength to find contentment within ourselves and our own company. It reminds us that while human connection is valuable and enriching, our happiness need not be dependent on it. We have the power to create fulfilling lives, filled with pursuits that bring us joy, growth, and satisfaction, regardless of who chooses to include us in their plans. In facing exclusion, let us lean on Stoic wisdom, to reflect, to understand, and then to rise above. Let us recognize that every experience of being left out can lead us closer to self-reliance, to finding peace and happiness in our own path. And as we navigate our journey, let us choose to extend the inclusion and understanding to others that we wish had been afforded to us, cultivating a circle where kindness and genuine connection are the pillars. Number 10. Your gut feeling indicates trouble. Have you ever experienced that whisper of intuition, a subtle nudge from within suggesting that something isn't quite right? It's like an internal alarm system, quiet yet insistent, indicating trouble long before the storm clouds gather on the horizon. This gut feeling, a visceral response to the unseen and unspoken, can be both a guardian and a guide, alerting us to tread carefully or reconsider our path. Yet, acknowledging and acting upon this inner voice often requires a delicate balance of wisdom and courage, particularly when everything else appears normal on the surface. Stoicism, with its rich tapestry of wisdom on living a virtuous life, provides a sturdy anchor in navigating these turbulent inner waters. This ancient philosophy teaches us the value of listening to our inner self, urging us to trust in our own reason and intuition. Yet, it also cautions us against being swayed by mere impressions or unfounded fears, advocating for a reasoned analysis of our instincts before taking action. When your gut feeling indicates trouble, Stoicism encourages a reflective pause, a moment to step back and examine the source of this intuition. Is it based on observable facts, or is it the echo of past fears and insecurities? Stoicism teaches us not to dismiss our instincts, but to interrogate them with the same rigor we would apply to any external advice. This introspection allows us to distinguish between genuine intuition and misplaced anxiety, guiding us toward actions that are in alignment with our values and principles. Moreover, Stoicism offers a perspective on how to respond once we've acknowledged our gut feeling. It reminds us that while we cannot control external events, we have complete autonomy over our actions and reactions. If our intuition signals a misalignment with our core values or warns us of potential harm, we have the power and the responsibility to choose a course of action that safeguards our well-being and integrity. This process of engaging with our gut feelings also encourages the development of self-trust. By listening to and acting upon our instincts, we reinforce our confidence in our ability to navigate complex situations. Stoicism reinforces this trust, not as a blind faith in infallibility, but as a recognition of our capacity to reason, to learn, and to grow from every experience. Embracing our gut feelings as a source of wisdom, then, becomes an exercise in Stoic virtue. It requires the courage to face uncomfortable truths, the temperance to react with moderation rather than impulsivity, and the wisdom to discern the best path forward. It challenges us to maintain our composure and resilience, even when our instincts lead us into uncharted waters. When your gut feeling indicates trouble, let the teachings of Stoicism guide you. Use this moment as an opportunity to connect deeply with your inner wisdom, to analyze your instincts with clarity and reason, and to move forward with actions that reflect your highest self. Trusting in your intuition, tempered by the principles of Stoicism, you can navigate life's uncertainties with confidence, knowing that your inner compass is aligned with the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. In the ebb and flow of life, it's the wisdom we carry within that lights our way through the darkest nights and guides us back to calm waters. Remember, the journey isn't about avoiding the storm, but learning to sail in any weather. Thank you for joining us on this voyage at the Stoic Journal, where each step we take is a step toward mastering the art of living. If this journey speaks to you, consider exploring more paths to wisdom by watching one of the suggested videos on your screen. Together, let's continue to build a life not just endured, but truly lived. Until next time, carry forward the torch of Stoic wisdom, illuminating the path not only for yourself, but for those yet to find their way.